I think I'm gonna go straight up black on these. Right? And maybe just a touch of coolness. You know, with a little bit of blue in the mix. Oh look, I got the glass agitator. Some fucking prize at the bottom. So let's just get a little water. Ooh, this is dirty. Water is dirty. So let's pull some black down. Little blue. Now we have blue black. And you see right here, I'm using my number 4. I'm using high opacity, low moisture, heart pull strategy, tip of the brush, rotating, and just using an extreme approach and just kind of following the curvature of this. Try not to get it on anything around it. But yeah, we got some pretty nice cabling right here that needs to get taken off of the silver. Right there. And it wraps around and it beds. Monument, slow fuse. That's our boy Jason Craze and Gentastic. And our girl Gentastic. Couple of legends. The progenitors of this coal black and sky blue. And this number 4 synthetic brush that I'm using right now. If you guys have questions about the brush game. Exclamation point, monument. Just get those pipes locked in real quick. Actually just ordered the new, or I don't know how new they are, new to me. Ordered the monument clippers today. Like an hour ago. Corvidite says you will find a way to fuck it. You've never subbed. Do you not have access to emotes right now? Like, are you barred from emotes? So now I'm going to hop around and really just kind of unfocus my eyes a little bit and try to see where else I can lay down some of this. Like right here. Just a little black and a little blue mixed together. Monument says they clipped the hell out of some clipping. I got you. I'm excited for them. I like some good sharp clippers. I was looking through. I always add some brushes to my order. And then I saw those and I ordered those. And then I also saw your coffee mug and bought it too. Okay. So now you see there's a bunch of cabling under the chassis right here. So let's get a little bit more water, a little bit more black. Let's get a little bit more blue. Maybe make it a little bit more blue-gray. And let's just sneak in here and just get this stuff real quick. And I'm making it a little brighter than what we've been doing. A little bit more blue in the mix, so I can throw a black wash over it later. Shout out to B Corp. Thank you so much for the support, my brother. Those wires to the head, is that just highlighted purple? That's a good question. There, it's like black and blue, and then I put some red in it, and then I think maybe a little white. It's in the second VOD. I was getting like some hair vibes, you know, so I wanted to just build that up to be really sexy. Corvidite, you're barred from emotes? God, that sucks. I don't know what's going on. Matt Wellman says, will this show with the nut and butt curtains? Yeah, I think it does. These on the sides, yeah, they will. Rocket Chicken 51 months. What's up, homie? Now, there's some cables down here, too, I think. Like, I think this is a hose right here. So this is what we're doing now is we're popping around and knocking out some random shit because your instinct is to just let it ride. Oh, I did this metal, this dry brushing, it's great. But if you just spend, you know, half an hour plucking and pulling out some extra deets, it's going to look a lot better. Using high opacity, low moisture, like I said. You see, like right here. Rock it back. Plenty of paint on the brush. Using some stipple strokes and then some heart pulls. When I'm really close to the nipple right here, just some sewing machine action. Rotate around, look for that heart pull. Rotate around, look for that stipple. Just using the tip to lightly caress right here. And I'm going to be lazy and just do most of it this color. Okay? That's where I am going to be like, I don't know if I can do that much. Now he's got some stuff up here too. Look at this. I'm going to go a little brighter, add more blue. Again, I think I'm just going to toss some black wash in there. The details kind of look right for it. Looks like there's a bit of a... They're running this cable wild as fuck right here. That's how I run my cables in my office. Matt Wellman, these are the man-up details that I seem to skip in my painting. Oh, it's so, like, when you do all these shortcuts, it's really easy to skip these. And you can skip these. And put all your panels back on and it's battle ready. It's fine. It's just, you know... Corvette, I'll just increase my Patreon subscription for the difference till I get it fixed. I love your content, man. Well, I appreciate that, man. If it's something that bothers you, you could just hit you just hit donate and just donate the $4.99 or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And you can do that once a month if that's what you're worried about. But if you needed to be on a subscription, I understand that too. I do appreciate the thought and the effort and the support. Black Cat Sneak Attack. Yeah, we did a Saturday stream, so some people missed that, but don't worry, it's the video's been edited and clipped out, and it's here behind the subscriber paywall and on Patreon in the living resource post. Okay, now let me just set this aside for a second. Let's just, while I have the big brush out, let's just move over to this arm real quick. Because you see there's a bunch right here. So let's just use the tip. Stipple, 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 stipple. Try not to get in the metal, but I did a little bit in some areas. That's okay. Use very extreme tip. Matt Wellman, you gangster. Let me get some strong man love for Matt Wellman in chat. Legendary supporter, friend, student. I hope you have enough coffee today. Had enough? I did. I had 2 cups. And a Red Bull. Matt Wellman, thank you. Now, Matt, I probably should switch to a smaller brush here, but I'm going to just be real careful. Use the light brush pressure and the tip, a little stipple. Real extreme angle here. Don't be afraid to stipple. Some light heart pulls right here, then some stipples down here. Stipple, stipple. So we got that big hose set up right there. Big cable. We got one right here. So take these extra moments to just knock these out real quick. Feel a lot better about it. And there's some really small ones. I think I am going to make them more intriguing by switching to red for those. So I'm happy with this color for the big stuff. Click, click. Matt Wellman. B-Core. Get a little flow improver out here. So we got lots of fun pipes right here, look. So high opacity, low moisture. Very steep approach. Stipple, stipple, stipple. Flip it up. These guns are going to be, these weapon hands are going to be super clutch and fun to paint. Like I said, we did a major shortcut here, Matt, with the way we airbrush, washed, and dry brushed the superstructure. So now it's up to us to be diligent here and kind of respect that shortcut by pulling these things out. And don't just stop with hoses and little nuggets like that. Challenge yourself. Because now all the nitty gritty metal is done, all deep in there in the recesses. So now it's just about painting by numbers so you feel like you've got enough complexity. Okay, happy with those big old cables right there. Now, let's flip it. Let me rinse the brush real quick. Where's my paper towel? I want to get my small brush out. See right there. Using the X10. Get those right there. There's a little bit more blue in the mix. I'm fine with that. Now, Now let me just rinse that real quick. Let's put a little bold titanium white down on the old palette. Oh man, Seahawks in chat. What's up, brother? We got an engine annihilation, homie. Exclamation point, creature caster. I think I have like a preview of what it actually looks like. No. There, this model right here. So I'm taking some straight up bold titanium. And I'm actually going to steal some of that blue gray we mixed. Make a nice bright version of it. And all these skulls I decided are going to be like cool to neutral gray. We're not going to go to that warm bone mix. We're going to go more for that clean, sun-dried, picked all the meat off by the crows look, you know? So that's like a really light gray base coat right there. Some coolness factor to it. Now down here, he's got a bunch of skulls above the crotch. We're going to go in here and just... And I already hit him with the darker gray last time. So now I'm just using high opacity, low moisture, just kind of stippling across there's details. Skittering across them. These ones I'm not going to put as much love into because they're tucked up under them. So just using a pretty rough and tumble approach. Just going to stipple, stipple, stipple. I'll probably hit them with a wash. Down there. That one's more important to me, so I'm going to let that base coat dry. There's skulls all over this guy sometimes. So I need to go through and make sure we get them all. For example, like this arm has like a little skeleton configuration right here. Like, look at that thing. That shit is so fucking sick. It's like a gas mask and a helmet. Look at this thing. It's like a skull. Okay. He's got like a Viking helmet on and a gas mask. And I'm going to definitely just create a liberty. It might not even be part of the design, but I am going to paint these ribs. It might be architecture. It might just be metal. But I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to just lend some really interesting little bonus details to the model. Little Viking helmet, gas mask. Hit the sternum and all the ribs. It's like a little, it's like a steampunk Viking is like embedded in here to power the fucking sword. Now here there's a skull right there. I'm going to paint this one too. These are just some quick base coats.
And his name is John C.
Corvidai, what up, brother? Corvidai says, going to bed because being a trucker has early hours. If I win anything for this, just give it to War Pigment. Aw, Corvidai, thank you, man. Be safe on the road, homie. Keeping it gangster. Seahawks, remember to at me if you're talking to me. I just saw you said a couple things I may have missed. Corvidai, you're a legend. Now look, I'm going to take a quick stop right here to pull out some pure white. And I'm going to just spend a minute I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how hard this is gonna be. Shout out right there to QT Patootie. Cutie Patootie. Thank you for the raid, Cutie Patootie. Guys, just tuning in, check it out. What I'm doing is using some high opacity, low moisture paint, using a very steep approach. And I'm trying to just jam some straight opaque bold titanium white inside these little slats. And it's not easy, and it's going to be a back and forth process. What I'm trying to do is keep some of the metal intact that we already have there. And this is going to be like an energy weapon, and this will be where it's glowing from. So I find that it's a lot better if you can just kind of establish the whitest value possible, aka white, at the light source inside there. And I have no idea what the actual lore here is on this gun. There's none painted on the internet. This is a web exclusive. This is the only one being painted to my knowledge, and so we're just making it up. So just trying to get it set up now, since I'm here. Vamp Cat, thank you for being our first time viewer. Brother Chaos. Brother Chaos. Thank you. Shout out to Sean Tree 5. Thank you for the follow. High opacity, low moisture, extreme tip. Combination of sewing machine stroke and heart pull. You want to get a nice opaque lay down here. Okay, you don't want to like paint the whole lattice work. You want to just get in there to the core. Okay. Let that dry. Let's hit the other side. Let's just get this little shitty side quest out of the way. Again, high opacity. Sometimes I use a little flow improver when I'm doing this so it doesn't just dry on my brush. But if you can find the perfect consistency, you can kind of get it laid down almost in one stroke. With just a couple little stipples. Just use your eyes, be patient. You know, give yourself over to the fact that this is kind of high stress. Cutie Patootie, how fortunate, she said, or he, I actually have never seen you stream, Cutie Patootie. So I don't know anything about you. I just want to say thank you for the raid. Let me see if I've followed you. Maybe I've watched you. Am I following you? Nope, not following you. I'm not following you. Thank you for the raid. And you were just talking about this. You talking about the engine of annihilation? We're talking about this model? More pigment. You just gifted a sub to Cutie Patootie. Oh, good old War Pigment. You're talking about making things glow? Oh yeah, I love making things glow. Make my fucking monsters glow, bitches. There we go. This is just obnoxious. And I always find that this type of glow effect, when you got these little slats like this, it's like it never goes as smooth as I want it to be. It always a fucking bitch. But I can't stop myself. All right, let that dry. We're done with it. I don't want to look at it anymore. It's hot fucking garbage. And like if you tuned in last week, you see we did a lot of things. We made a lot of things glow on this monster. So we made all this weird stuff up here kind of glowy. And his little eyeball glowy. So we're going to kind of keep that theme going, you know? This kind of hot magenta action. That's the hot tech right there. Okay. So now that I have the bowl titanium out here, let's go back up to the skull. So we had initially used this color. So what I'm going to do is just kind of quickly hit it with this again, but a little bit extra white in it. Little stipples. I'm going to rinse my brush off, dry it, pick up some pure bowl titanium, and just kind of stipple it in there dead center, and get a little bit of a wet blend going, where it's going to pure white, but still has some gray notes. Do whole classes on this technique. Ultimate cheat code if you can pull it off. For base coating, laying shit out. I'm going to run in here again real quick and just kind of bang out some quick tops of things. Some stipple stroke, some sewing machine stroke. Now, like I said, down here under his gut, I'm probably going to throw some wash tech. But just get some of those skulls looking a little bit more skull-like. Let's go back to our Viking fucking necromancer. I don't know what this guy is in here. So he's got a skull face. Okay, like a Viking helmet. Like a weird gas mask like bolted to him. And like, I have a feeling this is just artwork. In the lore. Like that's not really a dude in there. You know what I mean? But I'm painting it like it is a dude in there. Done. Just a little side quest to get these bones out of the way. Same thing here. Let's go back, get some moisture. Hit it all. Rinse the brush. Pick up some pure bowl titanium white. Just stipple some right in here, dead center, to get a little bit of a smooth blend with the capillary. Boop, boop. Rinse the brush, get that gray off of there. Pick up some of that pure white. Boop, boop. Now I'm going to do a quick secondary inspection and make sure that with these little slats, we are opaque white in there. It's crucial. That we are blocking out the underlaying metal with white. So you may need to kind of double down to get that white to be opaque. If I get a little high on the slat like I did there, that's fine. I'll just have to come back and repair it. Just need to make sure before we do any glazing or anything like that that our white is strong. Okay, let that ride. Good to go. Moving on with my fucking life. Okay, we're just banging details down. And I'm going to switch to gold here soon. It's just going to make sure I get everything because I've already missed a couple of things. Yeah, I can't even remember what our brown was last week. Okay, I think I remember now. I'm going to say we did straight up yellow. I'm feeling that got used. I'm feeling, I know me. Black, brown. Straight up ivory. Some combination of that. So let's just take some of the brown, the yellow, the ivory. There's a horn right here. Kind of going on nice and heavy, opaque, low moisture. Looking for that one and done coverage. I like to infuse plenty of yellow into it. Using the art pull strategy, just the tip of my brush where I can. Okay, I missed those horns, so now we're set up. Rest the brush. Let's pick up some pure ivory and yellow. Send it right in. While it's still a little wet. Tight. Now, I'm going to pull out some burnt red. No, I think I'm just going to switch right to Bold Pyro. Go straight at the Bold Pyro red, guys. The reddest red in the game. Madman, what's up, brother? I see you in chat. How you doing, brother? Okay. Now, straight up red. I feel like I want to paint his boots with some combination of this. I'll get some brown in there. But basically, I want this casing around his boots. Right here. So that's just brown plus red. I didn't bother with the burnt red in the mix because it's not a big surface. It's really not necessary for that have burnt red in the mid-tone here. Rinse it down. Let's pick up some red Brush it right over while it's still a little wet. Rinse it down. Let that just relax for a minute. No worries. Let's move over to the gun. Let's hit up our Viking guy in here. See that there's these cables right here. I want these to be red. Press that down. Let's pick up some of that horn color. Hit his little Viking horns right here. We did that we did earlier. Just smaller horns. Wait, are these hoses or horns? Wait a minute. I think they look like horns, but I think they're just pipes connecting to his brain. Wait a minute. That makes more sense. So it's actually just pink cables in his dome. Rinse it down. A little bit brighter red. Now for his little faceplate in there, let's kind of mix up an ivory, almost white ivory. No, that's not going to look good. Press it down. That's not going to be good. Let's go with some of our black blue. Let's hit the gas mask. Cover up his little mask. And we'll have to kind of edge highlight it in a second once it dries. And I want to put some love into these guns, like I was saying. Or these weapon arms. So here I'll take some blue mixed in. And we'll just do some quick tracing. So you can kind of see the structure. Same thing over here. Quick heart pull. Little tracer. A couple heart pulls right there. So you can see what's going on. Let that ride. It's good enough for now. Let's run back here to the boots. Let's grab some bold pyro. Let's just draw some thick ass lines right across them. Just real basic. Nice crisp structure. Lines are on the thick side, but it'll ride for now. Just want to see those boots. Let's move back up. Let's hit this pipe real quick with that light blue highlight. So here I'm just going to try to throw a quick line under it right here. Under that seam. Not that it's not very easy to do. Kind of nice little under highlight on it. Let's get a little brighter. Too bright. Tone it down. Just do some nice kind of shine lines on this one. A little shinier up there. Again, too bright. Knock it down. Trying to just get it somewhat of a, just like a shiny rubber feeling to it. Nothing too crazy there. All right, now, so there's something that's been bothering me is like this whole thing here. Tiny dog alert, guys. There's also a red chest plate. I forgot about. Put some pure VOL pyro in. Not forget about that. Rinse it down. Now, so I need to figure out what I'm going to do with this thing that goes around his neck. I was thinking pure black. Great with crisp edges. Brian Porkchop, I was also thinking of the gold spectrum. I also did think of gold. So I think the best thing to do is to just reset it to black. And if I don't like it, that direction, then it's not that hard to go back over it with gold. So I'm going to take some straight coal black. And I'm going to just black it out. I'm keeping it kind of thin. It's not fully opaque. There's a little moisture in it. Okay, so I want to reset. I don't build my paint up too much. I just have this like in my mind. I feel like if it's darker rather than brighter, it's gonna look better. I think it'll provide better overall contrast. You know what I mean? So like it, I mean, you see it already kind of frames his face better that way. And if it was like reflective golds and stuff, it would be kind of distracting and not providing us with that frame. But we can maybe hit this outer trim with gold. There's like another lip. And see what I could do is I can get creative with that, right? And we could pick up some blue and red into the mix. Right? And we can quickly just kind of sketch out some, while it's still just slightly wet, we can sketch out a couple of these highlights using this kind of dark purple concoction. Right into the wet black. Let it kind of blend right in. Press it down. We'll grab some transparent red. Love me some transparent red. Take that same mix, put some transparent red in it with some white. And now it's going to make it a lot more vibrant toward the tip here. And I'll go back and forth between the two concoctions to just get a nice kind of transition toward this brighter pink tip. And then we'll do some crispy edge highlights. This part of the blend, I don't want it to get too vibrant just yet. I want to budget a little real estate for some crispy lines. Yeah, see, I like that. I like that. I knew my instincts were telling me not to go with gold. Now, There's other like details in there, so if we're careful, we can go through, because it's got all these like swirly rings. She's using high opacity, low moisture, and just some mostly sewing machine angle. Just some light stipples. Just kind of bring out those little rings slightly. And I'm also kind of repairing anything I don't like. Let's rinse it down. Okay, so let's go with transparent red plus white. And I'm going to carefully just introduce a nice sharp edge right here using combination heart pull and tracer. Ride the rail where you can. Light brush pressure, high opacity, low moisture. I'm just staying in one vector right now. Just doing one side of each of these spikes. Got a little on that pipe. Got to touch that up. There we go. Now let's rotate from this angle. Just try to trace the bottom edge now. Getting a nice, clean, crisp, sharp edge. See, in painting it gold, we just would have like hit it with a wash, sort of, and maybe some sloppy highlights. I don't think we would have ever gotten this height. Rinse it, rinse it. More pigment, you need some bonus Yo-Deezies for that gift. Sorry about that. Love Minnie's can sort you out. She knows what's up. I like the way, did you do a size comparison to Armature or the Filer? It's almost, it's like 1-for-1 Armature. Now I'm going to smooth some of those out real quick by going back in time. Lowering the opacity a little bit. And anywhere where I feel like it got a little thick, I'm just going to glaze it with that in-between color. Kind of heal the wound a little bit. And also introduce a little bit more opaque kind of highlight toward the tips. Twofer. Some more traditional glazing. Low opacity, low moisture. Now let's get some white. Transparent red white, but mostly white. And I just want to do a little bit on the tip. Just right there on the sharpest point. That's what's up. Now I got to heal these hoses up top here, so let's go back to the black purple mix. Just kind of healing that little dot I got on there. Yeah, that's what's up. The Huff tuning in. What's up, brother? Still, we're engine, yeah, an engine, the engine of annihilation. Creature caster. We're finally doing it. Neezy, you fucked up the calendar time. What time did you initially had? I thought I saw it for later for tonight after the show. Yeah, I thought it was after my show today. Okay. Oh, you pushed it back to 9. Oh, you had it for 10. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I see. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of think the best thing to do on this is honestly, is to take our cool gray. Let's spend a few minutes on this. And let's take our cool gray and redo the frame. It gives me a way to kind of rebuild the lattice work off of silver. Kind of reshape it and also use something a little bit, apply a new layer of detail that's not just the same metal everywhere. So if I see that the white kind of crept up too far, I can kind of adjust that now. And I'm also going to hit kind of this part of the frame. High opacity, low moisture. So like it's all boxed in. Here we go. So we caged that white in a little bit more cleanly. Just making sure to kind of view it from multiple angles to make sure it looks good from all sides. There we go. Feeling that. So we should be able to light that up pretty good, which will make that the finale today. Meticulous Chaos, what's up, brother? Let's run back to this side. A little black, a little blue. Same deal. Oh boy, Matt. McWeezy in chat. OTPHGZ. Got class tonight. How's the project? Have you started? Have you gotten like anything primed yet for the chaos? Just using heart pull, guys. High opacity, low moisture. Tip of the brush. See, I'm barely moving anything. Small adjustments using all heart pull strategy. Now let's check the other viewing angle out. Make sure we're looking good from both sides. We are not looking good from this side. All right, let's do the outer box. DZ says, I'm going to finish dremeling these bases and then we can talk shop. I'm going to go over all the models for a last check. I'll mold lines tomorrow, then prime on Friday. Oh, shit. Shit's going to happen. All right. Feeling good about that. We'll be able to make that glow here in a minute. Now, we're going to pull out golds and stuff, but let's take a look at the sword. Actually, hold on. Let's spend a second on these pipes right here. Let's get some white and some gray in the mix. I'm doing just a nice clean line right here. Kind of an aggressive shine line. Let's get a little more white. Little heart pull right there. Got a little distorted. A little flow improver on the tip. Take a little water. Go back in time. Kind of erase that mistake right there. Run it back over here. Same deal. A little darker than that. Rinse it down. Yeah, Matt, I understand, bro. Okay, let's go a little brighter. A little flow improver. Let's do our heart pull, just the tip. And gently pull straight back. Tracer right there, nothing crazy. All right. Now, the actual sword, there's no way we're leaving that fucker silver, so we're gonna definitely have to paint it something. So probably, I mean, it's definitely right. I mean, it's gonna be so easy to do. I mean, like, it's so easy to paint. Like, I don't know if I want to just jump on the sword right now. Maybe we can. Okay, how about this? We'll do some glowy shit on this weapon. And we'll do like a nice, awesome power sword kind of situation on this one. And there's still things I'm going to pull out in the gold spectrum on this guy. But, I mean, like, he's already coming along with all these extra bonus details. So let's... Alright, let's do this. Now you can do you can use your airbrush on this, so like super easy. Like, honestly, it's like I feel like I'm fucking up if I don't like show you how to use your airbrush on this. So I feel like blue is like like going to like electric blue is gonna be clutch here. So I'm just going to grab some transparent blue right here. Okay. We're going to pick some black up, and we're just going to just bully it in there right now. So black plus transparent blue. Hot and heavy. And base coating it right now. Pretty raw dog, almost no moisture added. And I mean, it's such an easy surface to do some wet blending on, but I feel like a lot of people have airbrushes and like, yo, I want to use my airbrush to do something like this. So I would always do this first. I would base coat it like this first, so that the airbrushing isn't having to do a base coat. The airbrush is just having to do highlights. So we should be, without any tape or anything like that, we should be able to do a pretty solid airbrush job on this, and then just use our brush to kind of clean it up. Okay. So we're gonna set that up. That's gonna dry for a second. Now let's go to the gun. Now for the gun, let's pull some pure water out. Some blue in there. That's okay. Some transparent blue stuck in my brush. Not a big problem. Let's take some transparent red over here. Let's really water it down. Take some of that moisture off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it and just kind of jam it into these little holes with a little of the moisture still intact, because I wanted to kind of ring the hole. Now I'm going to use some stippling here, and I'm going to pull some of the moisture out. So it's kind of like a wash that's too thin is what's happening there. Okay? Like a wash, typically I say is semi-opaque and a little wet. This is like, or semi-opaque and kind of wet, or, you know, this is very low opacity and kind of wet. So it's like a wet glaze, but we are applying it as if it was a wash. So dry the brush up, pull some of the extra out, let it settle where it's settling. And we've got this nice, bright base. Rathicus, thank you for the follow. Okay, now take this, put it all up on your brush. Remember, if you're new here, you want to @ me to highlight it in chat. So take that excess moisture off, and now we can take this low opacity transparent red and kind of brush it all around this situation. And let it just get on things. And it's like 2% opaque. You see how it's just barely clinging to that metal? And the trick is to take the moisture off so it's controllable. Okay, and that's going to be the foundation of making this little chamber glow. Now, we could use our airbrush if we want to. And we may. Got a little on the skull, which is not necessarily bad. It was unintentional. So just make it more intentional. But we'll let that dry a little bit longer. And what we'll do is we'll break for a whip session. And then we'll pull the airbrush out and do some extra bonus effects here in a minute. So exclamation point. Whip. Jump in the old Discord server. So we've got the sword is going to be in this like really electric blue. Once we get the airbrush out, you'll see the brightness appear. Right now it's black and blue, basically black and blue ink right now. And this gun, we're going to keep it in that magenta spectrum for glowy energy effect. And we'll have to do it here too in the front. It's funny, this one spot needs a slight adjustment, I noticed. There's like this divot. There we go. Okay, we'll let that relax. And like I said, I don't know what's gonna. I actually don't know what I'm gonna do on this skull. I don't know if I'm gonna let it ride and actually tint it slightly. But I mean, there's a lot of steps between figuring that out and actually painting this fucking weapon. See, like I could just send some white in there. Kind of softly blend it. Whatever. Come back to it. Let it dry, let it dry. Whip. Let's start with this glow, because I kind of feel like I can actually get the airbrush involved here now that I'm looking at it, because it's big enough. And a lot of times I don't do any kind of glowing with my airbrush. But I know that I can go in there and kind of knock out those slats anytime I want. So I kind of feel like I can actually do some good work here with the airbrush. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and like I said, I don't typically advocate for this strategy. So I've kind of like, this is going to kind of invalidate some of the stuff I already did because I was going to go a different route. So I'm going to put a little flow improver and some pure white in there. So it's almost like, kind of pretend I didn't do some of that stuff I just did. Now, I'm going to thin it down a little bit more. Or Pigman says I can respect that, though I can never do that. Bro, I'm teasing, bro. Let me put it this way. If Bonet wanted a kid, she's getting a kid. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. So, luckily, we are in sync on our desire to procreate, which is we don't have one. It's definitely nothing as silly as wargaming, I assure you. Okay, so this is gonna be a little disrespectful, but only because, like I said, pretend I'm doing it in a different order. Did I know there was a city named Hoboken? I did not know there was a city named Hoboken. Easy. What am I changing the Black Paper Love minis? God damn, she's on me. That last bit that was because I was trying to release off the model and I released aimed right there. So that's a user error. That I teach that in my classes, you know, to mitigate the fail rate of like that splatter. And so that was straight user error. So I'm barely touching the trigger. Okay. And when you're moving this close, just be careful. You want to have enough moisture in there that you can withstand such low PSI, but you want to gently rock the trigger back. Okay, so we're rebuilding that white strip down the center, and it's going to get on the exterior, okay? But I know I can fix that whenever I want. Okay? Like I said, this is big enough that I can do this. Okay. Now I'm going to dump the pot. Hoboken, New Jersey, Talon? Damn, they named a place after me? Fuck yeah, dude. Just rinse the pot. Now, I'm going to just use some dirty paint water, and I'm going to grab some transparent red and put a drop in there. There's a little white mixed in with it. That's okay. It can mingle. A little flow improver. A bit more water. I'm going to throttle. More water. Now this is going to be some delicate work here, so I'm using just a little bit of air, and I'm going to carefully work a donut around what we've done. Okay? Just I'm deliberately aiming to the exterior. Okay. Somebody asked about the airbrush. What kind of airbrush? Exclamation point gunner splinter brush. Now let's roll back. Let's do a second pass of opacity. And hit it, quit it. Don't let it get wet. Use your eyes. Okay, we're using like fucking 100-to-1 right now. Water to paint. So you just want to be, you don't want to let it turn into a puddle. So rock the needle back a minimum possible. Watch it start to change and just move. Let the opacity stack naturally. Don't force it. It's not going to do anything if you just keep building it up when it's wet. Rough Luck Games, thank you for the raid, homie. Because some strong man love right there. I appreciate that, homie. Just in time. So what we're doing is we're letting this transparent red take on value information from the white, but also it's now applying a tinge to the surrounding area at a very low opacity, creating this illusion. And so we're just slowly stacking opacity, you see? Here. Those are huge, so we could probably just paint a little strip of white inside those. You see, none of this is actually opaque. Now I'm going to focus on the metal bits a little bit more to generate a little bit more of that red opacity. Now, let me set that down for a second. Let's put the airbrush down. Let's get a little bit, let's get our palette back out. And we've got a little transparent red out right here. And I'm going to use a little bit with my brush, kind of like a wash. Okay, and I'm going to just touch right here. Okay, and this is a little bit more opaque than what was in the airbrush. So we're using just a little stipple. Kind of heating it up right there. Oh, that one, that's too wet. That's draining in there. I fucked that up. So pull some water into it. It was too wet. I wasn't paying attention. So this right here kind of drained in there because I wasn't quick. And I'm going to just try to use a little water to manipulate that. There we go. Hit the other side. A little bit right there. And it's still semi-opaque. It's just got a little moisture in it. Whereas what we were airbrushing was very low opacity. Shit, was that fully off camera, guys? My bad. Now I'm going to pick up more transparent red. And this is going to be even more opaque, okay? Less moisture, more opacity. Oh shit. Recoil, my dude. That's the fear right there. That's my boy Recoil, big dog. Gotta eat. That's true, man. And I appreciate that. Can I get some strong man love in the chat for my boy Recoil? Shout out to Vampire Painting Studios for that host as well. Thank you. Now Recoil, we are going almost raw dog transparent red. Just using the tip of our brush, sewing machine stroke, and really working that border of electric red right there. You see that? And we're like kind of encasing it. We're locking it in. Okay. Run it back. Let's do another pass on this side. Now I'm going to take a little bit of water, lower the opacity again, take some of that moisture off with my paper towel, and let's see if we can carefully draw a border inside. Just real gentle. Just try to generate just a slight bit of contrast inside there. And we're just kind of like pinning the brush up against the slats and just letting the tip drag into that inner recess. Okay, now we're going to just jump into some straight up white, right, with some of the residual red on the brush. And we're going to just take that and hit this little strip. There's this like exposed like power supply right here. It's like just inside the slats, and we're just going to hit it with a little white mixed with some of that red. High opacity, low moisture. We're using a little bit of a finding the correct angle here. A little heart pull plus a little tracer technique to just touch it, pull back to my heart. Just kind of pop it out down the center line. Now I'm going to take a little bit of that highlight mix, recoil, mix a little bit more of the red into it, and I'm going to use that to just kind of excite some of these edges using the tracer technique. Ride that rail. Rotate here. Any hard edge. See that? Let's put a little bit of that love on there. Turn the lights down a little bit. Let's get a little bit more white in the mix. Right there. This one right here. I'm just going to reinforce down the center. A little bit more white. Now, some of these I want there to be a little separation. There we go. I missed it a little bit. There we go. Now here, what we need is kind of some almost pure white right here. And we need to just rinse our brush. And Recoil knows what I'm about to do. I'm going to take some transparent red while it's still wet and just kind of work the donut. Rinse the brush. A little bit more white. Right there. Stippling right there. Rinse it. Let's take some of that red and let's see if we can just stipple around it. There we go. Let's take some white and let's just kind of work on our guy right here a little bit. And this guy's fun because he's a white skull, so I can kind of just blend it to be a little bit more subtle. Like so. There we go. Now, let's take a look at what we got. So now we've got this sick-ass energy weapon. So now let's move to this sword. Okay, the sword should be pretty fun. We'll be able to go back and forth on that too. So let me just cover the web, get rid of the web palette for a second. Let's dump the pot. It just has some watered down red in it. Let's use some fresh water. My cap back on. Just gonna get rid of some of this red in the pot. Little hobo sink action. Okay. That's good enough. So now this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some transparent blue. Okay. Some sky blue. And again, this is going to be a little disrespectful. But you can, your airbrush can kind of like up and down, left, right, back and forth when the surface is big enough, you can kind of undo some of this stuff. So I'm going to do... Yo, Cheese, what's up, man? Is I'm going to just kind of sketch in some highlight right here. Yeah, it's pretty thin down. I put lots of moisture in it. Okay, so I'm just gently rocking the trigger back. Air, 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 air. Say second pass. Do some air. Okay. Just generating some opacity right here. Now, what we have is a bevel. There's a bevel right there that kind of divides this like awesome sharp front part of the sword. Just trying to get it all kind of set up first. Okay. Now letting that settle down, I'm going to take some white directly into the mix. It's going to get brighter, obviously. Some water. Drop a flow improver. I'm going to throttle my flow. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim kind of just at the very sharpest point. Stop. I'm going to aim right here at the bevel. Now I'm going to keep my tip clean. I'm going to put a little bit more water in the flow. Right there. Right there. So a little tri-blend, bright, dark, bright. Now here it's going to be bright in the middle. As it shifts to dark, bright, dark. As the plane shifts. Okay? So bright. Bright. Now that bevel's dark, so that's going to be bright in the center. Okay? I'm going to reinforce it. Let it dry. And I'm about to add a little bit more white to the mix now. Feel good about that. On top some of the pot. More white. Swirl that up. More water. Nice and thin. Gonna throttle it down again. And I'm keeping it real thin because when you throttle down like this, it will splatter everywhere. It just doesn't have enough ass. There we go. Blue Energy Sword West Games, thank you for the follow. I'm gonna dump the pot again. Now what we have is just kind of a little swirl of sky blue with mostly white now. Flow improver. Some water. Let me crank the PSI real quick. Gotta prime the pump. I'm good about that. I'm gonna throttle down. I'm gonna go a little bit more flow improver. A little bit more water. I want it to be a little thinner than that. A little lighter in the body. Clean the tip. All right, let's see what we can do here. Just introducing that sudden peak of white. Oh, it's not even close to white, but it looks kind of white on the sword. Pow, 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 pow. Sexy. Now, and getting that, see, like, and this is where you can use your airbrush. You know what I'm saying? You could wet blend that, no problem. It's just that if you're not confident with that yet, you can easily use your airbrush and do all these steps I'm doing. Because I keep incrementally working the respect up. If we just jump to white, it's going to be a shit show of just, you know, speckles. So we're going to have to just slow roll it like this. Now I should be able to take some white into that dirty paint water right there. Very thin. Dog is going crazy. Okay, so this is like water. A little bit wider. Brush and Blades, thanks for the follow, man. You see, we just keep getting even brighter and more cling. Ping, ping, ping. That's probably good enough. Okay, so we'll dump the pot real quick. And then we'll pull our brush out. And augment it. So you just gotta, when you're going that close to white, you just gotta walk it. You can't just jump to it. If you've ever had problems painting white and you've been like, why is white so hard? It's just because you're not respecting it. You're walking to it too soon. It's much different than going from like burnt red to red. Okay, let's pull the wet palette back out. Guys, we have about 25 minutes left. Thank you guys for your support today. Recoil, my man Corvidine, Matt Wellman, and B-Core. Can't do it without you guys, man. Thank you. Now we're going to use the old paintbrush. So what we need is a nice strong border. So I'm going to take some of that transparent blue and black again. I'm going to use this 18-0 right here. And I'm using heart pull stroke. And doing my best to walk back up to that bevel. Okay. Like, and see how sharp it's getting? And there's a whole, this bevel runs all the way down the top of this section too. It's just some, mostly watered down black and blue. You just want to be careful right here. So you just using the tip of the brush. Right there. And there's a frame we got to rebuild and everything. We're just not there yet. We'll take this same mix, water it down just a little bit, semi-opaque, a little wet. Tip of the brush. Right there. Some black, some blue. Same thing on this side. So it's important to use the tip of your brush and pull straight back to your heart. I'm just walking slowly to that bevel. Just using our paintbrush to augment it. You could have taped it all off and shit if you wanted to. But I find that to be a waste of time. Same thing, tip of the brush. Pull back to your body. Rinse the brush. Let's get a little flow improver out here on the palette. Let's take pretty much pure white. Ambient blues on the brush, that's fine. Okay. And I don't want it to be too wet on my brush, so I'll just take a little off of my paper towel. We're going to use the tracer technique. High opacity, low moisture. I'm going to ride this rail. Hold your breath, swing it from right to left. Right there. Rotate the model so you're on mostly a horizontal plane. Slightly diagonally back to your body. If you're right-handed, it will be right to left. So we're just using the flat of our brush and riding that rail with light brush pressure, high opacity, low moisture. And you get skinny straight lines every time. Now, the angle matters. If I want some more white on this viewing angle, I gotta lean my brush back. Get a little bit more shallow. Okay, now every bevel, we have to hit this one too. We have to use the heart pull. This is tricky. Right there. Okay. We have to hit these. So we're going to use the tip and ride the rail. Be cognizant of your tip penetration. You don't want to repaint that dark chamber. I did slightly already. It does look like a shark. Those are like his gills. That's so awesome. Got all sorts of highlight in the shadow there that I shouldn't have got. Love minis. That is like, it is like a shark. I love it. Now here's the hard one. This one may cause us a headache. Because this is, I think it's too shallow to actually trace. I think tracing that would be a disaster. So I think we're going to have to heart pull this. And so this is going to definitely get fucked up. So we're using the tip of our brush and trying to trace the line. Right there. And it's going to get a little wacky, but I'm going to have to erase, I'll erase it with our black blue. If you use the tracer technique, you should be able to get most of it laid out pretty crisp. Or the heart pull technique combined with the tracer technique. Like right there, I just like slammed my hand on that. That was ridiculous. But see, now we got that sketch in there. It looks pretty good. So anywhere the line just doesn't look great, you just go back to the black blue and you clean it up. And you get a pretty fucking clean sword. Now there's all sorts of texture built into it that we're gonna have to highlight. And I'll give you a sneak peek. I'm gonna just add some white to the mix. So there's like all these little scratches in here. Pits and stuff. You can see them all in there. Now I feel like this is not good right here. I feel like I got to raise this highlight up still. But that'll ride for now. So I'm just doing some stippling in here, some under highlighting on some of those textures. Now let's grab the super bright highlight. And you see they extend into the actual shiny part. So using the heart pull, we'll hit the underside of that scratch right there. Ping! Get some more of that white. High opacity, low moisture. Right there. Right there. Right there. Let's make sure that we respect that these little chunks are missing from the blade right here. Now, it's also important to put a shadow in there. So go back to the black blue. Yo, Bilbo fucking Swaggins, you're paying master, dude. He says, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Yo, Bilbo Swaggins, thank you for the support, my man. I do appreciate it. It's how I keep these lights on. Now, Bilbo Swaggins, I'm going to take some semi-opaque, slightly wet blue-black again, and make sure that that shadow line is nice and dark. Same thing right here. Using our heart pull. See that? The emphasis you get out of that. Pow, son. Pa-kling! Look at that thing, man. I still got to do this side with some edge highlights and whatnot. And we still got to do that trim and everything. You know, so I feel like that'll probably be gold. That big frame around it. So we might be able to finally pull a little gold out here at the end. So I'm just going to grab some straight up rich gold. Or bright gold, maybe. A monument. Wait, is there rich gold and bright gold? Are they two different colors? Yes, they're two different colors. So I got some rich gold. And now, let's just take a kind of pretty raw dog approach here. And this is a magic power sword. Crackling with arcane energy. And there's lots of little knickknacks, right? And doodads that I'm going to move around, you know, and paint on this. You know what I'm saying? So you want to move around and get this other layer of metallic details on the model now. I'm going to switch to the big brush up here. I'm going to do a nice even coat. Pretty raw dog. Very high opacity. Very low moisture. And I'm probably going to do this shit up here. And this part should be pretty easy. Like, you know, when you move around the model and we pick out the secondary metal color, right? We're going to just move around and like kind of anything that looks like a little doodad or a bob or some bullshit, just hit it, you know? We got 7.5 minutes left, guys. Thank you for your support today. Bill Swaggins, I appreciate you finding value in my content, man. Just like, you know, don't overthink it. Just ping, ping, ping. You know, nothing crazy. Like, look how hyped that is. You know what I'm saying? And you can see, like right here, I'm going to do this. That trim right there. Tip of the brush. And now you start to see like how much bonus detail we can get out of this guy. Just a little gold. Fuck this arm. Only magnetize them so that you can see them sometimes. I will glue those on. But I'll keep the magnets in there so if it ever breaks. Say it now, it's just about not overthinking things. You know, look at this. We got this little grate right here. And it's just straight rich gold, man. Boom. Look at that thing. Too easy. Anything, I'm just looking. You know, I feel like on the leg there's a lot of cool little things. Like perhaps we hit the joint right here. See that? And look at that, how it just transforms the leg like instantly. Look at the difference. Oh, here's a cool little plate right here. Look at this thing. Right there. Just that. Pop, 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 pop. Let's pop around. Make sure to hit it from the inside. Probably not going to see much of that behind the curtain. The nut curtains. Pop it out. So I waited till the end for the metallic because I didn't want to contaminate everything with metallic flakes. Hey, E-Cruise, thank you so much for the follow, brother. We got about 3 minutes left, guys. If you guys are trying to get on the final four, if you guys are trying to get those Yo Dogs, what's up? Thank you. You know what? I feel like I should do this whole thing. I think I'm pussyfooting this thing. TJ, what's up, man? And this will start generating all sorts of bonus contrast on the model. Just on the legs alone, look at that. Little trim around the fucking neck. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're just tuning in, we just did this sword just now. We also did this glowing energy pulse weapon or whatever the fuck, plasma cannon situation. And we got about a minute and a half left if you're trying to get Yo Dogs. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Now, in the very first episode, we did spray all the armor plates. So he does have big, thick thigh armor. Like so. There's a lot of detail on that. He's also got these ridiculous shoulder pads with literal bodies pinned to them. So we got to get those done. So there's a whole video tutorial just on these that we got to still do. We did all the airbrushing though. I think we're about done with the chassis. He's also got another suite of details. This is literally how detailed my man's ass flap is. This thing. It's like more than a fucking captain, Space Marine captain. Here's his nut curtain. Here are the flags that hang off his shoulders and all the extra horns and bits. So it's a pretty good video. It's already on Patreon, exclamation point access if you want to get in on that action. You can also grind it out live with me. 3 or so times a week. Thank you guys. 30 seconds left. I don't think we're going to have any overtime, so let me just read chat. Are these Titanicus Warhound equivalent, the Huff? I don't know. Is a Armiger, a 40k scale Armiger, the same size as a Titanicus Knight?
You gotta get swifty in here. It's time to get swifty. Uh-oh. You gotta get swifty. Oh, yeah. Take off your pants and your panties. Shit on the floor.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. The Huff, yeah, they're definitely war dogs. They're like the exact same size as a Chaos War Dog. I thought it was going to be more Forge Fiendy, but I realized after I got it, I was like, okay. Damn it, where's my picture? Right here. So it's definitely, this is the one we're painting right here. You see the leg armor and the giant corpse shoulders. That's ours. Just minus shoulders and leg armor. And so no one's painted one yet. They don't even have a painted sample on the website. So we're just going from our gut. You know what I'm saying? We have no idea what the intent of some of this stuff is. There is clearly, though, like a Japanese, like, samurai overlay, though, on some of this. Some of these, like, swirls and designs, like this, almost like this Oni kind of demon skull right here that we made the eyes going on. There's definitely an overlay. And I feel it when we pulled it out of the face, and this, like, armor plant panel is where I really started noticing it. And so I just knew we were going to use like off-whites and reds. That was just what I was going to choose anyway. So I feel like it really does complement the design. And now we have like some straight cyan built into this blade and straight magenta over there. So we're getting this like real techno-y vibe. Real fucking badass model. And like I said before, I've said it 1,000 times, I don't always find time to paint enough creature caster minis here on the platform, because they are very time intensive. The detail level is so fucking extreme.